This is crazy what he's doing right now, and what a great way of pitching in the product immediately. This guy is showing off his video editing skills and storytelling skills. Crazy, bro.
Description so you can look at it. Now I also gave Terry a big brain. He's got the AMD Ryzen 9 7950. Now I'm surprised to say my system actually posted on the first attempt, which is amazing, but what's not amazing is the fact that Ubuntu would not install. I tried for hours, actually for a whole day, and I almost gave up and installed Windows, but I said no, Chuck, you're installing Linux. So I tried something new, something I've never messed with before. It's called Pop OS by System76. This thing is awesome. It worked the first time. It even had a special image with NVIDIA drivers built in. It just stinking worked, so I sipped some coffee, didn't question the magic, and moved on. Now if you do want to build something similar, I've got all the links below. But anyways, let's talk about how to build your very own local AI server. First, what do you need? Really, all you'll need is a computer. That's it. It can be any computer running Windows, Mac, or Linux. And if you have a GPU, you'll have a much better time. Now again, I have to emphasize this. You won't need something as beefy as Terry, but the more powerful your computer is, the better time you'll have. Don't come at me with a Chromebook. Please. Now step 1, Olama. This is the foundation for all of our AI stuff and what we'll use to run AI models. So we'll head on over to olama.ai and click on download. And they've got a flavor for every OS. I love that. Now if you're on Mac, just download it right now and run it. If you're on Windows, they do have a preview version, but I don't want you to do that. Instead, I want you to try the Linux version. We can install it with one command, and yes, you can run Linux on Windows with WSL. Let's get that going real quick. First thing I'll do is go to the start bar and search for terminal, and launch my terminal. Now this first bit is for Windows folks only. Linux people, just hang on for a moment. We gotta get WSL installed, or the Windows subsystem for Linux. It's only one command, WSL -- install, and that's it actually. Hit enter, and it's gonna start doing some stuff. When it's done, we'll set up a username and password. I got a new keyboard, by the way. Do you hear that? Link below. It's my favorite keyboard in the entire world. Now, some of you may have to reboot. That's fine. Just pause the video and come back. Mine is ready to go, though. And we're rocking Ubuntu 22.04, which is still amazing to me that we're running Linux on Windows. That's just magic, right? Now, we're about to install Olama, but before we do that, we gotta do some best practice stuff, like updating our packages. So we'll do a sudo apt update.
Okay.
And then we'll do a sudo apt upgrade -y to apply all those updates. And actually, while it's updating, can I tell you something about our sponsor, IT Pro by ACI Learning. Now in this video, we're going to be doing lots of heavy Linux things. IT Pro comes in. If you want to learn Linux, or really anything in IT, they are your go-to. It's what I use to learn new stuff. So if you want to learn Linux to get better at this stuff, or you want to start making this whole hobby thing your career, actually learn some skills, get some certifications, get your A+, get your CCNA, get your AWS certifications, your Azure certifications, and go down this crazy IT path, which is incredible. And it's the whole reason I make this channel and make these videos. Check out IT Pro. They've got IT training that won't put you to sleep. They have labs, they have practice exams, and if you use my code NetworkChuck right now, you'll get 30% off forever. So go learn some Linux. And thank you to IT Pro for sponsoring this video and making things like this.
I actually wanted to explore that. Okay. Sponsor. IT Pro, right?
Put you to sleep. They have labs. They have
ACI IT Pro, is it? ACI IT Pro. Okay. What is the price? Let's look at that. So $59 per month. Okay. $15 is how much? Dollar to NR. 59. 5,000 rupees per month. Okay. Cool, but what all do we have? Individuals, 3 catalogs, sources. I want to okay. Let's go. Interesting. Hands out lab. You get experience. Okay, hard. What does that mean?
Ways that we don't know. But it's very important to have an understanding of what it is all about and how it impacts us and what we can do as individuals, as workers, and as auditors, reviewers, inspectors, and consultants. So we have this course on auditing AI and ML, and it's a very important course because I think that it really plays an important role in helping us understand what happens and how we can be active participants so we don't feel like we're just passive or victims with what's happening, but we can play an active role. So that being the case, I am very happy to be hosting this course. And in my experience as an auditor, I have done so many different things over the years. A lot of operational reviews, financial reviews, compliance reviews. I've taught many people over the years.
Interesting. Okay, so let's say what about IT Pro? So we have courses. This is what I wanted to see. AWS certification. Okay, AWS certification, AWS, Azure, Cloud. Okay. Okay. Apple certified support professional. Certified information system auditor. Okay. DNS. Interesting. Linux essentials. That's what he mentioned. Linux sells the basics. Beginner manage install. Interesting. So we also have cybersecurity courses. Interesting.
At practice exams, and if you use my code NetworkChuck to join and get some other cool commands, you can find it at the free NetworkChuck Academy membership. Click the link below. Every step, all this possible, off forever. So go learn some Linux, and thank you to IT Pro for sponsoring this video and making things like this possible. And speaking of, my updates are done. And by the way, I will have a guide for this entire thing. Every step, all the commands, you can find it at the free NetworkChuck Academy membership. Click the link below to join and get some other cool stuff as well. I can't wait to see you there. Now we can install Ollama with one command. And again, all commands are below. Just gonna paste this in. A nice little curl command, little magic stuff, and this, I love how easy this is. Watch. You just sit there and let it happen. Do you not feel like a wizard when you're installing stuff like this? And the fact that you're installing AI right now? Come on. Now notice one thing real quick. Ollama did automatically find out that I have an NVIDIA GPU, and it's like, awesome, you're gonna have a great time. If it didn't see that and you do have a GPU, you may have to install some NVIDIA CUDA drivers. I'll put a link for that below, but not everyone will have to do that. And if you're rocking a Mac with an M1 through M3 chip, you're gonna have a good time too. They will use that embedded GPU. Now at this point, our Mac users, our Linux users, and our Windows users are all converged. We're on the same path. Welcome. We can hold hands and sing. It's getting weird. Anyways, first we have to test a few things to make sure Ollama is working. And for that, we're gonna open our web browser. I know it's kind of weird. Just stick with me. I'm gonna launch Chrome here. And here in my address bar, I'm going to type in localhost, which is looking right here at my computer, and port 11434. Hit enter, and if you see this right here, this message, you're good to go. And you're about to find this out. Port 11434 is what Ollama's API service is running on, and it's how our other stuff is going to interact with it. It's so powerful. Just check this out. I'm so excited to show you this. Now, before we move on, let's go ahead and add an AI model to Ollama. And we can do that right now with Ollama pull. And we'll pull down Llama 2, a very popular one. Hit enter, and it's ready. Now let's test it out real quick. We'll do Ollama run, Llama 2. And if this is your first time doing this, this is kind of magic. We're about to interact with a ChatGPT-like AI right here. No internet required. It's all just happening in that 5 gigabyte file. Tell me about the solar eclipse. Boom. And you can actually control C that to stop it. Now I want to show you this. I'm going to open up a new window. This is actually an awesome command. And with this WSL command, I'm just connecting to the same instance again, a new window. I'm going to type in watch-n 0.5, not 4, 5, NVIDIA-SMI. This is going to watch the performance of my GPU right here in the terminal and keep refreshing.
Wow.
So keep an eye on this right here as I chat with Llama 2. Give me a list of all Adam Sandler movies. I look at the GPU go. It's so fun. Now, can I show you what Terry does real quick? I gotta show you Terry. Terry has 2 GPUs. Here they are right here. And Ollama can actually use both of them at the same time. Check this out. It's so cool. It's all the Samuel L. Jackson movies. And look at that. Isn't that amazing? And look how fast it went. That's ridiculous. This is just the beginning. So anyways, I had to show you Terry. So now we have Ollama installed. That's just our base. Remember, I'm going to say bye, so /bye to end that session. Step 2 is all about the web UI, and this thing is amazing. It's called Open Web UI, and it's actually one of many web UIs you can get for Ollama. But I think Open Web UI is the best. Now, Open Web UI will be run inside a Docker container, so you will need Docker installed, and we'll do that right now. So we'll just copy and paste the commands from Network Truck Academy. This is also available on Docker's website. First step is updating our repositories and getting Docker's GPG key. And then with one command, we'll install Docker and all its goodies. Ready, set, go. Yes, let's do it. And now with Docker install, we'll use it to deploy our Open Web UI container. So it'll be one command. You can simply copy and paste this. This Docker run command is going to pull this image to run this container from Open Web UI. It's looking at your local computer for the Ollama base URL because it's going to integrate and use Ollama. And it's going to be using the host network adapter.
Guys, by the way, I think we sat around 3:10, 3:20 p.m. and it's 5:02. So I'm super proud of myself to sit through this session of 1.5 hours and actually learn so many things along the way. Right from, I had no idea an hour and half an hour ago that such a thing exists. Right, that I can run. I didn't know that Ollama existed. I didn't know that I can run ChatGPT kind of LLMs on my machine. But I know that I can now, and I know that how to use it. It's crazy. So first part of the equation is over. So the first part that I wanted, this one, right? So let me just turn them into probably not this but checklist. Yeah, so the first part, this is done, right? So I in 1.5 hours actually understood, but there is another aspect to it, like how to host it on cloud so that I can turn it into a service and sell it to customers. That's what I have to figure out. Cool. But this is so crazy. Now I can actually spend some time in installing it and probably making sure that I have a model. I need to still figure out which model for data analysis is good, right? This one still has to be figured out, which I don't know yet. But yeah, I think we can figure this out. Yes. Great. That's crazy. That's awesome. But definitely we can figure this out and probably run a couple of instance and see how things work.
To make things nice and easy. Keeping in mind, this will use port 8080 on whatever system you're using. Now all we have to do is hit enter. After we add some sudo at the beginning. Sudo docker run. And let it do its thing. Let's verify it real quick. We'll do a little sudo docker ps. We can see that it is indeed running. And now let's go log in. It's kind of exciting. Okay, let's go to our web browser. And we'll simply type in localhost port 8080. Whoa, okay. It's really zoomed in. I'm not sure why. Yours shouldn't do that. Now for the first time you run it, you'll want to click on sign up. right here at the bottom, and just put your stuff in. This login info is only pertinent to this instance, this local instance. We'll
Oh,
create the account, and
interesting.
we're logged in. Now, just so you
Wow.
know, the first account you log in with or sign up with will automatically become an admin account. So right now, you, as a first-time user logging in, you get the power. But look at this. How amazing is this? Let's play with it. So the first thing we have to do is select the model. I'll click that drop down, and we should have one Llama 2. Awesome. And that's how we know also our connection is working. I'll go ahead and select that. And by the way, another way to check your connection is by going to your little icon down here at the bottom left and clicking on settings and then connections, and you can see our Ollama base URL is right here if you ever have to change that for whatever reason. Now with Llama 2 selected, we can just start chatting. And just like that, we have our own little chat GPT that's completely local. And this sucker is beautiful and extremely powerful. Now first things, we can download more models. We can go out to Ollama and see what they have available. Click on their models to see their list of models. CodeGemma is a big one. Let's try that. So to add CodeGemma, our second model, we'll go back to our command line here and type in Ollama pull CodeGemma. Cool, it's done. Once that's pulled, we can go up here and just change our model by clicking on the little drop-down icon at the top. Yep, there's CodeGemma.
Wow.
We can switch, and actually, I've never done this before, so I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm going to click on my original model, Llama 2. You can actually add another model to this conversation. Now we have two here. What's going to happen? So CodeGemma is answering it first. I'm actually not sure what that does. Maybe you guys can try it out and tell me. I want to move on though. Now some other crazy stuff. You can see right here. It's almost more featured than ChatGPT in some ways. You got a bunch of options for editing your responses, copying, liking and disliking it to help it learn. You can also have it read things out to you, continue response, regenerate response, or even just add stuff with your own voice. I can also go down here, and this is crazy. I can mention another model, and it's gonna respond to this and think about it. Did you see that?
Wow.
I just added my other model
Crazy,
talk to
bro.
my
What's
current. Like,
happening?
that's just weird, right? Let's try to make them have a conversation. Like they're gonna have a conversation. What are they gonna talk about? Let's bring back in Llama 2 to ask the question. This is hilarious. I love this so much. Okay, anyways, I can spend all day doing this. We can also, with this plus sign, upload files. This includes a lot of things. Let's try, do I have any documents here? I'll just copy and paste the contents of an article, save that, and that'll be our file. Summarize this. You can see our
Super,
GPU
bro.
being used over here. I love that so much. Running locally. Cool. We can also add pictures for multimodal models. I'm not sure CodeGemma can do that. Let's try it out real quick. So Ollama can't do it, but there is a multimodal model called Lava. Let's pull that down real quick. With Lava pulled, let's go to our browser here once more. We'll refresh it, change our model to Lava, add the image. That's really scary. There we go. That's pretty cool. Now here in a moment, I will show you how we can generate images right here in this web interface by using Stable Diffusion. But first, let's play around a bit more. And actually, the first place I want to go to is the admin panel. For you, the admin. We have one user, and if we click on the top right, we have admin settings. Here's where a ton of power comes in. First, we can restrict people from signing up. We can say enabled or disabled. Now right now, by default, it's
Wow,
enabled.
this
It's
is
perfect.
crazy,
And when they try
bro.
to sign up initially,
This
there'll be a
is
pending user
crazy.
until you're approved.
What he's
Let
showing
me
us.
show you. So now, real quick, if you want to have someone else use this server on your laptop or computer or whatever it is, they can access it from anywhere, as long as they have your IP address. So let me do a new user sign up real quick, just to show you. I'll open an incognito window, create account, and look, it's saying, hey, you gotta wait. Your guy has to approve you. And if we go here and refresh our page, on the dashboard, there's Bernard Hackwell. We can say, you know what? He's a user. Or click it again, he's an admin. No, he's not. He's gonna be a user. And if we check again, boom, we have access. Now what's really cool is if I go to admin settings and I go to users, I can say, hey, you know what? Don't allow chat deletion, which is good if I'm trying to monitor what my daughters are kind of up to on their chats. I can also whitelist models. Like, so you know what? They're only allowed to use Llama 2, and that's it. So when I get back to Bernard Hackwell's session over here, I should only have access to Llama 2. It's pretty sick. And it becomes even better when you can make your own models that are restricted. We're gonna mosey on over to the section called Model Files, right up here. And we'll click on Create a Model File. Now you can also go to the community and see what people have created. That's pretty cool. And I'm gonna show you what I've done for my daughter Chloe to prevent her from cheating. She named her assistant Deborah. And here's the content. I'm gonna paste it in right now. The main thing is up here where it says from, and you choose your model, so from Llama 2. And then you have your system prompt, which is gonna be between 3 double quotes. And I've got all this, telling it what it can and can't do, what Chloe's allowed to ask, and it ends down here with 3 double quotes. You can do a few more things. I'm just gonna say it's an assistant, education, save and create. Then I'll go over my settings once more and make sure that for the users, this model is whitelisted. I'll add one more, Deborah. Notice she's an option now. And if Bernard's gonna try and use Deborah and say, Deborah, paper for me on the Civil War. And immediately I was shut down, saying, hey, that's cheating. Now, Llama 2, the model we're using, it's okay. There's a better one called Mixtral. Let me show you Terry. I'll use Deborah, or Deb, and say, write me a paper on Benjamin Franklin. And notice how it didn't write it for me, but it says it's gonna guide me. And that's what I told it to do, to be a guide. I tried to push it and it said no. So that's pretty cool. You can customize these prompts, put in some guardrails for people that don't need full access to the kind of stuff right now. I think it's awesome. Now, OpenWebUI does have a few more bells and whistles, but I want to move on to getting Stable Diffusion set up because this thing is so cool and powerful. Step 3, Stable Diffusion. I didn't think that image generation locally would be as fun or as powerful as ChatGPT, but it's more. Like, it's crazy. You gotta see it. Now, we'll be installing Stable Diffusion with a UI called Automatic 1111. So let's knock it out. Now, before we install it, we got some pre-req.
I'll be back in a minute. Just give me a minute. Okay, guys, I'm back. Let's look at this.
And one of them is an amazing tool I've been using a lot called PyEnv, which helps us manage our Python versions and switch between them, which is normally such a pain. Anyways, the first thing we gotta do is make sure we have a bunch of prerequisites installed. Go ahead and copy and paste this from the Network Trick Academy. Let it do its thing for a bit. And with the prereqs installed, we'll copy and paste this command, the curl command that'll automatically do everything for us. I love it. Run that. And then right here, it tells us we need to add all this or just run this command to put this in our bash rc file so we can actually use the pyenv command. I'll just copy this, paste it, and we'll type in source.bashrc to refresh our terminal. And let's see if pyenv works. Pyenv, we'll do a -h to see if it's up and running. Perfect. Now let's make sure we have a version of Python installed that will work for most of our stuff. We'll do pyenv install 3.10. This will of course install Python 3.10, the latest version. Excellent. Python 3.10 is installed. We'll make it our global Python by typing in pyenv global 3.10. Perfect. And now we're going to install Automatic 1111. The first thing we'll do is make a new directory. mkdir for make directory. We'll call it stable diff. And then we'll jump in there, cd stable diff. And then we'll use this wget command to wget this bash script. We'll type in ls to make sure it's there. There it is. Let's go ahead and make that sucker executable by typing in chmod. We'll do a +x and then webui.sh. Now it's executable. Now we can run it. /webui.sh. Ready, set, go. This is going to do a lot of stuff. It's going to install everything you need for OpenWebUI. It's going to install PyTorch and download Stable Diffusion. It's awesome. Again, a little coffee break. Okay, that took a minute, a long time. I hope you got plenty of coffee. Now, it might not seem like it's ready, but it actually is running. And you'll see the URL pop up like around here. It's kind of messed up. But it's running on port 7860. Let's try it out. And this is fun. Oh my gosh. So localhost 7860. What you're seeing here is hard to explain. Let me just show you.
Excuse me.
And let's generate.
NIT திருச்சியில அதர் ஸ்டேட் பசங்க ஜாயின் பண்ணோம் அப்படினா JEE எக்ஸாம்ல 300க்கு 240 மார்க் மேல எடுத்துறோம்.
Okay, it got confused. Let me take away the Oompa Loompas part. But like, this isn't being sped up. This is how fast this is. No, that's a little terrible. What do you say we make it look a little bit better? Okay, that's terrifying. But just one of the many things you can do with your own AI. Now you can actually download other models. Let me show you what it looks like on Terry. And my new editor Mike told me to do this. That's weird. Let's make it take more time. But look how fast this is. Like, it's happening in real time as I'm talking to you right now. But like, if you've ever made images with GPT-4, it just takes forever. But I just love the fact that this is running on my own hardware, and it's kind of powerful. Let me know in the comments below which is your favorite image. Actually, post on Twitter and tag me. This is awesome. Now this won't be a deep dive on Stable Diffusion. I barely know what I'm doing. But let me show you real quick how you can easily integrate Automatic 1111 One. Did I do enough ones? I'm not sure. And there's stable diffusion inside OpenWebUI. So it's just right here. Back at OpenWebUI, if we go down to our little settings here and go to settings, you'll see an option for images. Here we can put our automatic 1111 base URL, which will simply be http://127.0.0.1, which is the same as saying localhost, port 78, was it 06? 60? 60, I think that's what it is. We'll hit the refresh option over here to make sure it works. And actually, no, it didn't. And here's why. There's one more thing you gotta know. Here we have OpenWebUI running in our terminal. If I hit Control-C, it's gonna stop it from running. In order to make it work with OpenWebUI, we gotta use 2 switches to make it work. So let's go ahead and run our script one more time. OpenWebUI, or webui.sh, and we'll do --listen and --API. Once we see the URL come up, okay, cool, it's running, we can go back over here and say, why don't you try that again, buddy? Perfect. And then over here we have image generation experimental. They're still trying it out. We'll say on, and we'll say save. So now if we go to any prompt, let's do a new chat. We'll chat with Llama 2. I'll say, describe a man in a dog suit. This is for a stable diffusion prompt. A bit wordy for my taste, but then notice we have a new icon. This is so neat. Boom, an image icon, and all we have to do is click on that to generate an image based on that prompt. I clicked on it, it's doing it, and there it is, right in line. That is so cool, and that's really terrifying. I love this, it's so fun. Now this video is getting way too long, but there are still 2 more things I want to show you. I'm going to do that really quickly right now. The first one is, it's just magic. Check it out. There's another option here inside OpenWebUI. A little section right here called Documents. Here we can simply just add a document. I'll add that one from before. It's there, available for us. And now when we have a new chat, I'll chat with Code Gemma. All I have to do is do a hashtag and say, let's talk about this. And say, give me 5 bullet points about this. Cool. Give me 3 social media posts. Okay, Code Gemma, let me try it again. What just happened? Okay, let's do a new prompt. Oh, there we go. And I'm just scratching the surface. Now, second thing I want to show you. Last thing. I am a huge Obsidian nerd. It's my notes application. It's what I use for everything. It's been very recent. I haven't made a video about it, but I plan to. But one of the cool things about this very local private notes-taking application, is that you can add your own local GPT to it, like what we just deployed. Check this out. I'm gonna go to settings. I'll go to community plugins. I'll browse for one. I'm gonna search for one called BMO Chatbot. I'm gonna install that, enable it, and then I'm gonna go to settings of BMO Chatbot. And right here, I can have an Ollama connection, which is gonna connect to, let's say Terry. So I'll connect him to Terry, and I'll choose my model. I'll use Llama 2, why not? And now, right here in my note, I can have a chatbot come right over here to the side and say like, hey, how's it going? And I can do things like, look at the help file, see what I can use here. Ooh, turn on reference. I'm gonna say reference on. It's now gonna reference the current note I'm in. Tell me about the system prompt. Yep, there it is. And it's actually going through and telling me about the note I'm in. So I have a chatbot right there, always available for me to ask questions about what I'm doing. I can even go in here and go, highlight this, do a little prompt select generate. It's generating right now, and it's generating some stuff for me. I'm gonna undo that. Let me do another note. So I want to tell a story about a man in a dog suit. I'll quickly talk to my chatbot and start to do some stuff. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And this, I think, for me, is just scratching the surface of running local AI private in your home on your own hardware.
Oh my
This is seriously
God.
so powerful, and I can't wait to do more stuff with this. Now, I would love to hear what you've done with your own projects. If you attempted this, if you have this running in your lab, let me know in the comments below. Also, do you know of any other cool projects I can try that I can make a video about? I would love to hear that. I think AI is just the coolest thing. But also, privacy is a big concern for me. So to be able to run AI locally and play with it this way is just the best thing ever. Anyways, that's all I got. If you want to continue the conversation and talk more about this, please check out our Discord community. The best way to join that is to jump through our Network Chuck Academy membership, the free one. And if you do want to join the paid version, we do have some extra stuff for you there too, and it'll help support what we do here. But I'd love to hang out with you and talk more. That's all I got. I'll catch you guys next time.
Step into Wix Studio, the platform for agencies and enterprises, and turn website layouts into an art form.
Wow. This is crazy. I will
Create the grid you want,
subscribe,
shaping
buddy.
every section intuitively.
For sure. And hey, wait. Oh yeah, this is the one
I'm running something called Private AI. It's kind of like ChatGPT, except it's not. Everything about it is running right here on my computer.
Let's go and see what are the. You've been using AI wrong. Monitor all your stuff right now. White House says no degree. Okay.
Last year I did a poll and I asked you, do you have a website? 81% of you still don't have websites, even after I made this video. Why? It takes like 5 seconds to make a website. Watch this. Done. What do y'all think?
How's that a website? Exactly.
Alright, fine, give me 5 seconds.
What? What is it doing?
Okay, how about now?
No, it's still ugly.
Okay, 10 more seconds. Okay, this is the winner. What do you think?
It's still hideous.
I have no words to say until you fix that.
You know what? I'm gonna make you guys do this. You're gonna build your own websites.
I don't want to do that.
We don't know how to code.
You tell you what, whoever has the best website gets $100.
Really?
And these guys, they're gonna vote on it. Deal?
Daddy, we hated this.
Yeah, I do this.
Yeah, websites are stupid.
Okay, they're making some good points. Let's address those right now. First, you absolutely can make a website with AI. In fact,
Wow.
here in a moment, I'm gonna give the girls access to Hosting, which will make a beautiful website in about 10 seconds. They just type in what they want and it happens.
Are you serious?
Helps a ton of people, and that's what you're gonna do. Help a ton of people. So most of you don't have a website right now. Let's change that. I'm gonna show you how to build a website like this and get it on the internet. It'll take about 5 minutes and it's free. No more excuses. I mean, seriously, your perspective and what you have to offer is way too valuable. And before you even say, Chuck, I don't need that, I've got LinkedIn, I've got Twitter or X, not good enough. And I'll go over my reasons why that is here in a moment. Actually, at this timestamp. Actually, right here. Right here. Sorry, video editors. But I'm gonna get you online first. Let's get your website up and running right now. And honestly, it's pretty much already done. Here's the code for our simple website, which you can just copy and paste if you want. Again, it doesn't have to be anything more than this. But we have a problem. Right now, our website isn't on the internet. It's just a file on our computer. And sure,
Just one second, I'll be back. This is super interesting.
when
Crazy.
we open it, it looks and feels like a website, but look at the URL. It's just a file. No one else can get to this but us. So to get our website, this file, on the internet, we need to put this file on something called a web server, which is just a fancy name for another computer somewhere on the internet. But this computer is special. It's designed to serve up websites when people ask for them. Web server, website server. And once we put our website file on this web server, people can then, with their web browser, aka the client, and they'll send a request to the web server. Excuse me, waiter. I would like a delicious website, please. This is normally called an HTTP GET message. Get me some food. And what makes the web server a web server is that it's designed to accept these messages and then respond to them. And normally with a 200 OK message, along with your website file. And that's essentially how pretty much every website works. But now how do we get our site, our file, onto a web server? And what web server? Where do we put it? How do we find one of these guys? This is actually the easy part. There are many web servers out there. Most of them cost money, but you can actually host a website for free on a site called GitHub. GitHub is normally a site that coders and developers will use to manage their code, but they have this cool thing called GitHub Pages, which will allow us to use a web server, their web server, for free. And it takes like 2 minutes to get set up. Let's do that right now. The first thing we'll do is head on over to github.com. And if you don't already have an account, let's get signed up right now. Now once you're signed in, it can kind of feel overwhelming. Don't let it be. We're just going to do a few things here. First, right here in the middle, it wants us to create a repository, also known as a repo. All this is a place we're going to put our code, our website code, our file. So we'll create one real quick. We'll name it my website. Nothing too
I know
crazy.
I'm getting
And we'll put
sidelined
the little
here,
radio button
but
here
this is
to make it
interesting.
public. and then we'll click on Create New Repository. End of our journey where things are free. Getting a custom domain will cost, and then down here on the left you'll see an option for, it's kind of overwhelming, but all we want to do right now is upload a file. You'll see this link right here. Upload an existing file. That's how we're going to get started. Go ahead and click on that. We'll find our website file, index.html, and we'll just drag that over. There's our file, and all we have to do now is click on Commit Changes. I'm committed. Let's go. Now there's only one more thing we have to do, and it's super simple. On the top menu bar on the very far right, you'll see Settings. Go ahead and click on that. And then down here on the left, you'll see an option for Pages. Go ahead and click on that. And then right here in the middle, we're going to deploy from a branch. You don't have to worry about what that means right now. All you have to do is click on this little drop-down box, change it from None to Main. And that's really all we have to do. And now we'll click on Save. And you may have to refresh your page, but right now, our website, it's on the internet. This is our URL. We can grab this sucker, open up a new tab, paste it, website on the internet.
Crazy.
Go ahead, share that with anybody. You're now the proud owner of a website. It's on the internet. Congrats. Now, I know what you may be thinking. This name right here, this URL or domain name, it's not the greatest. It's got GitHub in it. It's got your goofy username. What if we want something more custom, like a real website, right? Like GilmoreGolfing.com. This is totally possible, but it is the end of our journey where things are free. Getting a custom domain will cost you something. Not very much. Let me show you how right now, and we'll still use GitHub Pages as our web server. So to get a custom domain, we'll need to go out to what's called a domain registrar to register a domain. It's kind of fun to say, registrar. There are a lot of these out there, but one of my favorites and the sponsor of this video is Hostinger. And we'll go over to hostinger.com/Chuck, or just click the link in the description. Now you could go over here and just click on domains and buy one from Hostinger. But there's a deal going on. Later in this video, I will show you how to build an amazing website. Actually, no, you're not going to build it, AI will. And it's this plan you want. $3 a month plus 3 months free, and it comes with a free domain. Otherwise, you can just buy a domain. But this deal's pretty killer. And also, there's something else. If you claim the deal, and we'll choose this business plan, I'll show you more on this later. You can throw in coupon code NetworkChuck and get an even bigger discount. How much is it? I don't know, math, but it was cheaper. Now, I already claimed this deal, so I'm gonna click on Domains to buy a new domain. Now, just so you know, you can't buy a domain and then claim this deal later. You gotta claim the deal first. So go ahead and do that now if you think you might want to build an amazing AI-driven website. So we'll click on Domains, and then we'll try to find one. Or you can actually have AI generate your domain. Okay, I am Happy Gilmore, and I want to make a blog about golfing. Let's see what happens. That's pretty cool. But I want to see if they have Gilmore Golfing. Ah, they do. Even tells you your domain is suitable for what you're trying to do. That's kind of cool. And we could go .com or GilmoreGolfing.cloud. That's only 99 cents for the first year. Pretty killer. Let's do that. We'll do some registration stuff and get the sucker. Once purchased, you may have to do a few registration things. Not a big deal. So now here's the state of things. We have our new domain name, GilmoreGolfing.cloud, which is being managed by our domain registrar and also our name server, Hostinger. The only thing we have left to do is to tell Hostinger that when people go to our website, GilmoreGolfing.cloud, we want to send them right over here to GitHub, the web server where our website lives. Let's do that right now. It takes like 3 seconds. Actually, like maybe 20 seconds. Right here in Hostinger, we have our DNS name server settings. Let's click on that. Now, if you just set your domain up, it might need some time to brew. And you may scroll down here and see that there's nothing here. If there's nothing here, give it some time. Refresh your page a few times until you see a whole bunch of, well, whatever this is. Once you have this, we can start playing with it. To point our website to GitHub, we'll need to create what's called a DNS record, and more specifically, an A record. It's already kind of set up for us. You just gotta tell it where to go. Right here where it says points to, I'm gonna paste in this IP address. This is one of GitHub's IP addresses for GitHub pages. You can use this one or just Google another one. They have a few. This one should be fine though. I'm gonna go ahead and click on add record. Now you may get a warning saying, hey, you got 2 A records that have the same name. That's fine, we'll fix that in a second. Go ahead and click on confirm. You should get a DNS record created successfully message, and then we'll go down here and delete that other A record we don't want. Scroll all the way to the bottom until we see, yep, here are the 2 A records right here. This is the one we just created, that's the one we wanna keep. This one we don't like, we're gonna take it away. Click on delete, done. So now we're actually done with the Hostinger side, the domain registrar. It's pointing to GitHub. Now we gotta tell GitHub about this new domain. Let's go there. Back here at our pages configuration, we're gonna scroll down just a little bit until we see custom domain. All we have to do here is type in our custom domain, GilmoreGolfing.cloud. And I'll click on save. Now what it's doing here, it's gonna check to see if DNS is configured correctly, if it's actually pointing here. And okay, it's already done. It's working. It's even getting a secure certificate set up for us right now. Let me refresh the page, see if it finished. Okay, certificate is active. Let's test it out. Go to GilmoreGolfing.cloud. It's our first time ever visiting it. Yes! Website up, custom domain. It's secure. That's amazing. Almost completely free except for the domain charge, and you really can't avoid that. Now that was fun, and this website is cool, but it's simple. I know for some of you, and maybe most of you, you like to be fancy. You want to have a fancy website. I get it. I'm the same way. I want one too. Or maybe you're a business, and you gotta have something a bit more professional than this. I get that. So this is the fancy and probably lazy part of the video where we're gonna make AI do everything for us. Because it's 2024. We don't have to learn to code if we don't want to. By the way, you should learn to code, you should learn Python, it's good for you, but we don't have to. AI can do this. So now I'm gonna give my girls the power of AI to build their website. And before I let them loose, let me show you how AI website building works. To do that, I'll head over to hostinger.com/Chuck. Let's go ahead and claim that deal. Now compared to our free option earlier, Hostinger is also a web server, but it's much more than that. If you look at their business plan, which is the one I would recommend because you get a ton of amazing AI features, like you can actually build a WordPress site with AI tools. But they also take care of everything for you. Manage WordPress, which is a very popular way to build a website. They take care of the vulnerabilities, backup, updates, and with AI, they take care of the building too. And I know what you're thinking, like, Chuck, isn't there value in learning how to build your own website, learning how to code and everything? Yes, there is. But if you're like me, when you start going down that path, we start focusing more on building the website than making content for the website. That's always a trap I fall into. I want to add this feature, then this feature, and research how to code this. Or crap, this broke, let me try and fix that for 5 days. So by the end, I may have this kind of cool looking website, but no content. And the whole point of it was to make content, to share my ideas and what I'm studying, what I'm working on, to help people. That's why I love this. It allows me just to focus on the content. Now, it's only $3.99 a month, plus 3 months free. You can create up to 100 websites if you want, which, by the way, that's what I'm going to do. I mean, not 100. I'm going to have my daughters come under one account. I'm only going to pay one fee, and have them create a website in my account. We can have multiple websites. So you could do that too. Like maybe your family, each one in your family has a website with one plan. It's pretty killer. You also get a free domain. So that whole domain thing we did earlier, baked in right here. So go ahead and grab it. Now once you have your account, let me show you the power of AI website creation. I'm gonna add a website, and I'll have my girls do this. I can either do WordPress, which will have a ton of AI tools, or Hostinger's website builder, which has a ton of AI power. Let's try that one. Now from here you can literally type in your dream, what you want it to be. No coding, just from brain to website. And within moments, what they described is sitting right there. They didn't have to code it, be really good at design, it just happened. Now I'm gonna let them tweak this and keep going because you can keep iterating, keep adding more AI stuff, add some blogs with AI, add some content with AI, it's so cool. So I'll give them some time and then we'll judge their websites.
Manage WordPress hosting by Hostinger. Here are 3 super features to improve your website's performance.
Adding study. Oh.
That's Mr. Bean.
That's Jonathan. Understand?
But while they're doing that, I want to get back to the reason why I think you need a website. Because you do, even if you already have LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter, but I'll get to that. But first, reason number 1, you will learn so much more, so much faster by sharing what you learn. I saw this great quote from Tiago Forte. When one person teaches, 2 people learn. You may have heard me say it before. The best way to learn is to teach. So here's what you do. Every time you're learning something, whether it's technical or something else, learn it. Like you're about to give a presentation on that sucker. Like you're about to get up in front of people and teach that. Or like you're about to make a YouTube video about it. Or like you're gonna make a blog post about it. That's how you should learn, like you're about to share it. Because as you're learning, you should be taking notes. But I don't want you to take notes anymore. I want you to shift your mindset from taking notes to giving notes. These notes will be used by you in the future when you forgot everything you learned, and it will be used by people you're sharing it with on your website. And the quote from Einstein and Feynman is totally true. If you can't explain it simply, then you really don't understand it. And it's so funny because as you're studying a topic, you'll kind of have a moment where you think, you know, I think I understand that. I kind of get it. But if someone were to ask you to explain it to them, you're stumped. Silence, crickets, you don't know what to say. It's that process of figuring out how to explain it in your own words, from your own perspective, in a simple way. That's where the real learning happens. Now sure, you don't have to make a website to do this. You can make your own notes and never share them with the world. But what a robbery that is. And that's point number 2. You have a unique perspective, a unique view on the world, a unique way of teaching things and explaining things that is valuable to someone else. It is. Everyone has this. Will it be 1 million people? Probably not. But all it needs to be is 1 person. If 1 person can find your stuff and read it and be changed and affected, that's worth it. The whole reason I do what I do, from becoming a network engineer to now a YouTuber making content all the time, I do this because I was inspired by someone else, from reading their blog, from watching their videos. It's because they shared that I'm now sharing. You can be that for someone else. Right. Let me say it again. You may not think that what you have to say is valuable, that no one's going to care. They will. Someone will. Someone's going to gain something from that. Number 3.
This is the exact reason I'm recording these videos of my freelancing journey and putting out there, because eventually I will improve in my communication, improve in my editing, but I want to share my journey, and probably in the future, if you learn something from it, even one person learns something from it, that's worth making this effort. And obviously, as you mentioned, as you're making notes and putting it on internet, it's also for you to, if you forget it, you can come back to it. This, what I'm doing right now, is making me accountable, is holding me accountable to sit here. I've been sitting here from 3 to it's 5:40 right now. I have not lost interest just because I was recording this, right? So it's beneficial for me, it's beneficial for you. Everybody wins. It's a win-win situation. So why not?
Having a website is going to help you get a job. It just will. I created 2 videos talking about this. Websites are the new resumes. When I'm hiring someone and I get a candidate's resume, you better believe I'm Googling that person. I'm looking at their website. I'm seeing what they do and what they care about. And a website is the best place to show prospective employers, places you want to work at, that you know what you're talking about. They can see the way you write or make videos on your website and explain things. Now, let me say this. I think it's great if you have all these sites and you get traction on these sites. I'm off X, the thing that stood the test of time. Why do I need a website? Isn't that kind of archaic to have a website? I've got GitHub, I'm good. Now, let me say this. I think it's great if you have all these sites and you get traction on these sites. I'm obviously a big fan of YouTube, but I got a few problems. And maybe they're more philosophical views, but I want to see what you think. First, my number one problem, my number one objection is that it's someone else's website. It's someone else's stuff. YouTube is not mine. GitHub, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, it's not yours. Yes, you're posting stuff. Yes, you have a profile, but you're at the mercy of whatever these platforms want to do, whether they die next year, change their algorithm, or decide that you're not welcome there. But your own website, you're in control. And to me, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a child of the 90s and I grew up with the internet and websites, but to me, a website seems timeless. When you create a website, I feel like it's a lasting thing. That's not subject to anything else. Sure, SEO is a thing, like can people Google you and find you? But no matter what new platform comes out or what platform dies, it's the website that has always been the thing that stood the test of time, and that will only change when you want it to. And I guess the point number 2, and that's your stuff can get kind of lost in the weeds when you create on other platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, or whatever it is. You're a slave to the algorithm. Whatever they decide is going to be shown to people. It's up to you. Let's go see what my daughters did.
Every time we do a competition, Chloe always wins. The last competition, Chloe won like 1,000 Robux. And I like 2,000 Robux. And I didn't win anything. And I always lose to Chloe. And I really need to win. And look at this one. Look at my website. It's so much better than Chloe's. And I really need you to vote for me. I'm Chloe. And you probably heard maybe that and you're gonna vote for the website. Me and my sister are doing a challenge to see who votes for the best website. I hope you pick mine because it's probably the best. If you like those things that I have.
Interesting. Wow. Cool. That's nice. Network Chuck is a great find. This guy is awesome. Brother, I am a fan right now. Okay, so he makes content about, network engineering and things like that. Oh, interesting. Password hacking, vulnerabilities. Interesting. So he's not AI. Oh, machine learning engineer. Oh, interesting. It is good right now. Expose your home network to. Okay. I'm gonna learn a lot from this person for sure. Great. I think these are the videos that we want. Okay.
Hey, I'm not Harry Potter, but can I show you a magic trick? You can convert any raw Excel.
Here on my computer, I'm a glimpse at what they're doing. This is an entire community dedicated to providing and sharing AI models. And their training happens. Meta, to train this model, put together what's called a subsystem for to Linux people. This is the set gonna be slower on C.
Guys, I feel a bit fried. I feel like there's been information overload, and I do want to watch this video completely, but oh shit, crazy. I think I should watch this one and then probably go back and then, you know, make a decision about what I want to do with my rest of the evening. This is so nice. I'm loving it.
I'm running something called Private AI. It's kind of like ChatGPT, except it's not. Everything about it is running right here on my computer. I'm not even connected to the internet. This is private, contained, and my data isn't being shared with some random company. So in this video, I want to do two things. First, I want to show you how to set this up. It is ridiculously easy and fast to run your own AI on your laptop, computer, or whatever it is. This is free, it's amazing, it'll take you about 5 minutes. And if you stick around to the end, I want to show you something even crazier, a bit more advanced. I'll show you how you can connect your knowledge base, your notes, your documents, your journal entries to your own private GPT. And then ask you questions about your stuff. And then second, I want to talk about how private AI is helping us in the area we need help most, our jobs. You may not know this, but not everyone can use ChatGPT or something like it at their job. Their companies won't let them, mainly because of privacy and security reasons. But if they can run their own private AI, that's a different story. That's a whole different ballgame. And VMware is a big reason this is possible. They are the sponsor of this video, and they're enabling some amazing things that companies can do on-prem in their own data center to run their own AI. And it's not just the cloud, man. It's like in your data center. The stuff they're doing is crazy. We're gonna talk about it here in a bit. But tell you what, go ahead and do this. There's a link in the description. Just go ahead and open it and take a little glimpse at what they're doing. We're gonna dive deeper, so just go ahead and have it open right in your second monitor or something, or on the side, or minimized. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how many monitors you have. You have 3 actually, Bob. I can see. Oh, before we get started, I have to show you this. You can run your own private AI that's kind of uncensored. And watch this. So yeah, please don't do this to destroy me. Also, make sure you're paying attention. At the end of this video, I'm doing a quiz. And if you're one of the first 5 people to get 100% on this quiz, you're getting some free coffee. Network Chuck coffee. So take some notes, study up, let's do this. Now real quick, before we install a private local AI model on your computer, what does it even mean? What's an AI model? At its core, an AI model is simply an artificial intelligence pre-trained on data we provided. One you may have heard of is OpenAI's ChatGPT, but it's not the only one out there. Let's take a field trip. We're gonna go to a website called huggingface.co. Just an incredible brand name, I love it so much. This is an entire community dedicated to providing and sharing AI models. And there are a ton. You're about to have your mind blown, ready? I'm gonna click on models up here. Do you see that number? 505,000 AI models.
Wow.
Many of these are open and free for you to use, and they're pre-trained, which is kind of a crazy thing. Let me show you this. We're gonna search for a model named Llama 2, one of the most popular models out there. We'll do Llama 2 7B. I love the branding. Llama 2 is an AI model known as an LLM, or large language model. OpenAI's ChatGPT is also an LLM. Now this LLM, this pre-trained AI model, was made by Meta, aka Facebook. And what they did to pre-train this model is kind of insane. And the fact that we're about to download this and use it, even crazier. Check this out. If we scroll down just a little bit, here we go, training data. It was trained by over 2 trillion tokens of data from publicly available sources, instruction data sets, over 1 million human annotated examples. Data freshness, we're talking July 2023, I love that term. Data freshness. And getting the data was just step 1. Step 2 is insane, because this is where the training happens. Meta, to train this model, put together what's called a super cluster. It already sounds cool, right? This sucker is over 6,000 GPUs. It took 1.7 million GPU hours to train this model. And it's estimated it costs around $20 million to train it. And now, Meta's just like, here you go, kid. Download this incredibly powerful thing. I don't want to call it a being yet. I'm not ready for that. But this intelligent source of information that you can just download on your laptop and ask it questions. No internet required. And this is just one of the many models we could download. They have special models like text-to-speech, image-to-image. They even have uncensored ones. They have an uncensored version of Llama 2. This guy, George Sung, took this model and fine-tuned it with a pretty hefty GPU. Took him 19 hours and made it to where you could pretty much ask this thing anything you wanted. Whatever question comes to mind. It's not going to hold back. Okay, so how do we get this fine-tuned model onto your computer? Well, actually, I should warn you. This involves quite a bit of llamas, more than you would expect. Our journey starts at a tool called OLlama. Let's go ahead and take a field trip out there real quick. We'll go to ollama.ai. All we'll have to do is install this little guy, Mr. OLlama, and then we can run a ton of different LLMs. Llama 2, Code Llama, told you lots of llamas. And there's others that are pretty fun, like Llama 2 Uncensored, or llamas, Mistral. I'll show you in a second. But first, what do we install OLlama on? We can see right down here that we have it available on macOS and Linux, but oh, bummer, Windows coming soon. It's okay, because we've got WSL, the Windows subsystem for Linux, which is now really easy to set up. So we'll go ahead and click on download right here. For macOS, you'll just simply download this and install it like one of your regular applications. For Linux, we'll click on this. We get a fun curl command that will copy and paste. Now because we're gonna install WSL on Windows, this will be the same step. So, macOS folks, go ahead and just run that installer. Linux and Windows folks, let's keep going. Now if you're on Windows, all you have to do now to get WSL installed is launch your Windows terminal, just go to your search bar and search for terminal, and with one command, it'll just happen. It used to be so much harder. It's WSL install. It'll go through a few steps, it'll install Ubuntu as default. I'll go ahead and let that do that. And boom, just like that, I've got Ubuntu 22.04.3 LTS installed, and I'm actually inside of it right now. So now at this point, Linux and Windows folks, we've converged, we're on the same path. Let's install OLlama. I'm going to copy that curl command that Olama gave us, jump back into my terminal, paste that in there, and press enter. Fingers crossed, everything should be going great, like the way it is right now. It'll ask for my sudo password. And that was it. Olama is now installed. Now this will directly apply to Linux people and Windows people. See right here where it says NVIDIA GPU installed? If you have that, you're going to have a better time than Llama 2. So we'll simply type in Olama, run, and then we'll pick one. Llama 2. And that's it. Ready, set, go. It's going to pull the manifest. It'll then start pulling down and downloading Llama 2. Now I want you to just realize this. That powerful Llama 2 pre-training we talked about, all the money and hours spent, that's how big it is. This is the 7 billion parameter model, or the 7B. It's pretty powerful. And we're about to literally have this in the palm of our hands. In like 3, 2, 1. Oh, I thought I had it. Anyways, it's almost done. And boom, it's done. We've got a nice success message right here, and it's ready for us. We can ask you anything. Let's try what is a pug. Now, the reason this is going so fast, just like a side note, is that I'm running a GPU, and AI models love GPUs. So let me show you real quick. I did install Olama on a Linux virtual machine. Now I'll just demo the performance for you real quick. By the way, if you're running like a Mac with an M1, M2, or M3 processor, it actually works great. Forgot to install it. I gotta install it real quick. And I'll ask you that same question, what is a pug? It's gonna take a minute. It'll still work, but it's gonna be slower on CPUs. And there it goes. It didn't take too long, but notice it is a bit slower. Now if you're running WSL and you know you had an NVIDIA GPU and it didn't show up, I'll show you in a minute how you can get those drivers installed. But anyways, just sit back for a minute, sip your coffee, and think about how powerful this is. The tinfoil hat version of me stinking loves this. Because let's say the zombie apocalypse happens, right? The grid goes down, things are crazy, but as long as I have my laptop and a solar panel, I still have AI. And it can help me survive the zombie apocalypse. Let's actually see how that would work. It gives me next steps. I can have it help me with the water filtration system. This is just cool, right? It's amazing. But can I show you something funny? You may have caught this earlier. Who is Network Chuck? What? Dude, I've always wanted to be Rick Grimes. That is so fun. But seriously, it kind of like hallucinated there. It didn't have the correct information. It's so funny how it mixed the zombie apocalypse prompt with me. I love that so much. Let's try a different model. I'll say bye. I'll try a really fun one called Mistral. And by the way, if you want to know which ones you can run with Olama, which LLMs, they got a page for their models right here. All the ones you can run, including Llama 2 Uncensored. Wizard Math. I might give that to my kids, actually. Let's see what it says now. Who is Network Chuck? Now, my name is not Chuck Davis. And my YouTube channel is not called Network Chuck on Tech. So clearly the data this thing was trained on is either not up to date or just plain wrong. So now the question is, cool, we've got this local private AI, this LLM, that's super powerful. But how do we teach it the correct information for us? How can I teach it to know that I'm Network Chuck, Chuck Keith, not Chuck Davis, and my channel's called Network Chuck? Or maybe I'm a business, and I want it to know more than just what's publicly available. Because sure, right now, if you downloaded this LLM, you could probably use it in your job. But you can only go so far without it knowing more about your job. For example, maybe you're on a help desk. Imagine if you could take your help desk's knowledge base, your IT procedures, your documentation. Not only that, but maybe you have a database of closed tickets, open tickets. If you could take all that data and feed it to this LLM and then ask it questions about all of that, that would be crazy. Or maybe you wanted to help troubleshoot code that your company's written. You can even make this LLM public facing for your customers. You feed it information about your product, and the customer can interact with that chatbot you make, maybe. This is all possible with a process called fine-tuning, where we can train this AI on our own proprietary, secret, private stuff about our company, or maybe our lives, or whatever you want to use it for, whatever use case is. And this is fantastic because maybe before you couldn't use a public LLM because you weren't allowed to share your company's data with that LLM. Whether it's compliance reasons or you just simply didn't want to share that data because it's secret, whatever the case, it's possible now because this AI is private, it's local, and whatever data you feed to it is going to stay right there in your company. It's not leaving the door. That idea just makes me so excited because I think it is the future of AI and how companies and individuals will approach it. It's going to be more private. Back to our question though, fine-tuning. That sounds cool, training an AI on your own data, but how does that work? Because as we saw before, with pre-training a model with Meta, it took them 6,000 GPUs over 1.7 million GPU hours. Do we have to have this massive data center to make this happen? No. Check this out, and this is such a fun example. VMware. They asked ChatGPT, what's the latest version of VMware vSphere? Now the latest ChatGPT knew about was vSphere 7.0, but that wasn't helpful to VMware because their latest version they were working on, which hadn't been released yet, so it wasn't public knowledge, was vSphere 8 Update 2. And they wanted information like this, internal information, not yet released to the public. They wanted this to be available to their internal team, so they could ask something like ChatGPT, hey, what's the latest version of vSphere? And it could answer correctly. So to do what VMware is trying to do, to fine-tune a model, or train it on new data, it does require a lot. First of all, you would need some hardware, servers with GPUs. Then you would also need a bunch of tools and libraries and SDKs like PyTorch and TensorFlow, Pandas, NumPy, Scikit-learn, Transformers, and FastAI. The list goes on. You need lots of tools and resources in order to fine-tune an LLM. That's why I'm a massive fan of what VMware's doing. Right here, they have something called the VMware Private AI with NVIDIA. The gajillion things I just listed off, they include in one package, one combo meal, a recipe of AI fine-tuning goodness. So as a company, it becomes a bit easier to do this stuff yourself, locally. For the system engineer you have on staff who knows VMware and loves it, they could do this stuff. They can implement this. And the data scientists they have on staff that will actually do some of the fine-tuning, All the tools are right there. So here's what it looks like to fine tune. And we're going to kind of peek behind the curtain at what a data scientist actually does. So first we have the infrastructure, and we start here in vSphere, VMware. Now if you don't know what vSphere is, or VMware, think virtual machines. You got one big physical server, the hardware, so that you can feel, touch, and smell. You gotta smell the server, I don't know what you're doing. And instead of installing one operating system on them like Windows or Linux, you install VMware's ESXi, which will then allow you to virtualize out here in vSphere stuff. They can implement this.
I understood till here. I understood till here, but from here we'll take it one step at a time. And yeah, let's take it one step at a time. What is today's date? Today is what? Tuesday, Thursday. I do have a call. Today is Monday. Oh yeah, today is Monday. I'm sorry. But
data scientists they have on staff that will actually do some of the fine tuning. All the tools are right there. So here's what it looks like to fine tune. And we're going to kind of peek behind the curtain at what a data scientist actually does.
Okay.
So first we have the infrastructure, and we start here in vSphere, VMware. Now if you don't know what vSphere is, or VMware, think virtual machines. You got one big physical server, the hardware, so that you can feel, touch, and smell. You haven't smelled the server, I don't know what you're doing. And instead of installing one operating system on them like Windows or Linux, you install VMware's ESXi, which will then allow you to virtualize or create a bunch of additional virtual computers. So instead of one computer, you've got a bunch of computers, all using the same hardware resources. And that's what we have right here. One of those virtual computers, a virtual machine. This, by the way, is one of their special deep learning VMs that has all the tools I mentioned and many, many more pre-installed.
But
right?
1 second, will I get to use it? 1 sec. So what is this? So I think vSphere client, right? So let's check vSphere client. Okay. How can I use it? I get
from
access to
different
it.
sources in the vSphere screen or dashboard. You can monitor.
Download. Okay, fine. Come on.
இப்ப practice non-stop boost milkshake ஓட.
Boost milkshake, the new secret of my energy.
This again, I go to this machine through my virtual different.
But how do I add that? That's the thing, right? How do I add this? Has anybody asked that in the comments? Okay. Okay, so I think VMware gave him access to a couple of things, right? So, which I don't have. VMware fine tuning. setup and general issues. Okay, I don't think anybody can come and access their machines, man. Like these are servers. Validate your hardware test menu was check performance and hardware components using Windows Administration. Check install items against hardware. Use minimum configuration greater. Plan the deployment following tables. Use a broadcast list. Then install the latest VMware tools, request operating system. I have no idea, buddy. I have no idea. But we'll figure it out.
Or VMware. Think virtual machines. You got one big physical server, the hardware, the stuff you can feel, touch, and smell. You haven't smelled the server, I don't know what you're doing. And instead of installing one operating system on them like Windows or Linux, you install VMware's ESXi, which will then allow you to virtualize or create a bunch of additional virtual computers. So instead of one computer, you've got a bunch of computers, all using the same hardware resources. And that's what we have right here. One of those virtual computers, a virtual machine. This, by the way, is one of their special deep learning VMs that has all the tools I mentioned, and many, many more, pre-installed, ready to go. Everything a data scientist could love. It's kind of like a surgeon walking in to do some surgery, and like their doctor assistants or whatever, had prepared all their tools. It's all on the tray, laid out, nice and neat, to where the surgeon all he has to do is walk in and just go, scalpel. That's what we're doing here for the data scientist. Now, talking more about hardware, this guy has a couple NVIDIA GPUs assigned to it, or passed through to it through a technology called PCIe pass-through. These are some beefy GPUs, and notice they are the GPUs for virtual GPU, similar to what you do with the CPU. Cutting out the CPU and assigning some of that to a virtual CPU on a virtual machine. So here we are in data scientist world. This is a Jupyter notebook, a common tool used by a data scientist. And what you're going to see here is a lot of code that they're using to prepare the data, specifically the data that they're going to train or fine-tune the existing model on. Now, we're not going to dive deep on that, but I do want you to see this. Check this out. A lot of this code is all about getting the data ready. So in VMware's case, it might be a bunch of their knowledge base, product documentation, and they're getting it ready to be fed to the LLM. And here's what I wanted you to see. Here's the data set that we're training this model on, or fine-tuning. We only have 9,800 examples that we're giving it, or 9,800 new prompts or pieces of data. And that data might look like this, like a simple question or a prompt. And then we feed it the correct answer. And that's how we essentially train AI. But again, we're only giving it 9,800 examples, which is not a lot at all. And it's extremely small compared to how the model was originally trained. And I point that out to say that we're not going to need a ton of hardware or a ton of resources to fine-tune this model. We won't need the 6,000 GPUs we needed for Meta to originally create this model. We're just kind of adding to it, changing some things, or fine-tuning it to what our use case is. And looking at what actually will be changed when we run this, when we train it. We're only changing 65 million parameters, which sounds like a lot, right? But not in the grand scheme of things of like a 7 billion parameter model. We're only changing 0.93% of the model. And then we can actually run our fine-tuning, which this is a specific technique in fine-tuning called prompt tuning, where we simply feed it additional prompts with answers to change how it will react to people asking it questions. This process will take 3 to 4 minutes to fine-tune it, because again, we're not changing a lot. And that is just so super powerful.
And I think VMware is leading the charge with private AI. VMware and NVIDIA take all the guesswork out of getting things set up to fine-tune an LLM. They've got deep learning VMs, which are insane. VMs that come pre-installed with everything you could want, everything a data scientist would need to fine-tune an LLM. And then NVIDIA has an entire suite of tools centered around their GPUs, taking advantage of some really exciting things to help you fine-tune your LLMs. Now, there's one thing I didn't talk about because I wanted to save it for last, for right now. It's this right here, this vector database PostgreSQL box here. This is something called RAG. And that's what we're about to do with our own personal GPT here in a bit. Retrieval Augmented Generation. So scenario, let's say you have a database of product information, internal docs, whatever it is, and you haven't fine-tuned your LLM on this just yet, so it doesn't know about it.
Freelance service platforms like Downwork and Fiverr are dead.
What advice do you give to freelancers to get high-tech?
You don't have to do that. With RAG, you can connect your LLM to this database of information, this knowledge base, and give it these instructions. Say, whenever I ask you a question about any of the things in this database, before you answer, consult the database. Go look at it and make sure what you're saying is accurate. We're not retraining the LLM, we're just saying, hey, before you answer, go check real quick in this database to make sure it's accurate. To make sure you got your stuff right. Isn't that cool? So yes, fine-tuning is cool and training an LLM on your own data is awesome. But in between those moments of fine-tuning, you can have RAG set up where it can consult your database, your internal documentation, and give correct answers based on what you have in that database. That is so stinking cool. So with VMware Private AI Foundation, with NVIDIA, they have those tools baked right in to where it just kind of works for what would otherwise be a very complex setup. And by the way, this whole RAG thing, like I said earlier, we're about to do this. I actually connected a lot of my notes and journal entries to a private GPT using RAG, and I was able to talk with it about me, asking it about my journal entries and answering questions about my past. That's so powerful. Now before we move on, I just want to highlight the fact that NVIDIA, with their NVIDIA AI Enterprise, gives you some amazing, fantastic tools to pull the LLM of your choice, and then fine-tune and customize and deploy that LLM. It's all built in right here. So VMware Cloud Foundation, they provide the robust infrastructure. And NVIDIA provides all the amazing AI tools you need to develop and deploy these custom LLMs. Now it's not just NVIDIA, they're partnering with Intel as well. So VMware is covering all the tools that admins care about. And then for the data scientists, this is for you, Intel's got your back. Data analytics, generative AI and deep learning tools, and some classic ML or machine learning. And they're also working with IBM. All you IBM fans, you can do this too. Again, VMware has the admins back. But for the data scientist, Watson, one of the first AI things I ever heard about. Red Hat and OpenShift. And I love this because what VMware is doing is all about choice. If you want to run your own local private AI, you can. You're not just stuck with one of the big guys out there. And you can choose to run it with NVIDIA and VMware, Intel and VMware, IBM and VMware. You got options, so there's nothing stopping you. So now for some of the bonus section. Working with IBM. All you IBM fans, you can do this to things I ever heard about. Red Hat and OpenShift. And I love this because what VMware is doing is all about choice. If you want to run your own local private AI, you can. You're not just stuck with one of the big guys out there. And you can choose to run it with NVIDIA and VMware, Intel and VMware, IBM and VMware. You got options, so there's nothing stopping you. So now for some of the bonus section of this video, and that's how to run your own private GPT with your own knowledge base. Now fair warning, it is a bit more advanced, but if you stick with me, you should be able to get this up and running. So take one more sip of coffee. Let's get this going. Now first of all, this will not be using Ollama. This will be a separate project called Private GPT. Now disclaimer, this is kind of hard to do. Unlike VMware Private AI, which they do it all for you. It's a complete solution for companies to run their own private local AI. What I'm about to show you is not that at all. No affiliation with VMware. It's a free side project you can try just to get a little taste of what running your own private GPT with RAG tastes like. Did I do that right? I don't know. Now, El Martinez has a great doc on how to install this. It's a lot, but you can do it. And if you just want a quick start, he does have a few lines of code for Linux and Mac users. Fair warning, this is CPU only. You can't really take advantage of RAG without a GPU, which is what I wanted to do. So here's my very specific. Fair warning, this is CPU only. You can't really take advantage of RAG without a GPU, which is what I wanted to do. So here's my very specific scenario. I've got a Windows PC with an NVIDIA 4090. How do I run this Linux-based project? WSL. And I'm so thankful to this guy, Emilian Lancelot. He put an entire guide together of how to set this up. I'm not going to walk you through every step because he already did that.
Okay.
Link below. But I seriously need to buy this guy a coffee. How do I do that? I don't know. Emilian, if you're watching this, reach out to me. I'll send you some coffee. So anyways, I went through every step. From installing all the prereqs, to installing NVIDIA drivers, and using Poetry to handle dependencies, which Poetry's pretty cool. I landed here. I've got a private, local, working, private GPT that I can access through my web browser. And it's using my GPU, which is pretty cool. Now first I try a simple document upload. I got this VMware article that details a lot of what we talked about in this video. I upload it, and I start asking it questions about this article. I tried something specific, like show me something about VMware AI market growth. Bam, it figured it out. It told me. Then I'm like, what's the coolest thing about VMware Private AI? It told me. I'm sitting here chatting with a document. But then I'm like, let's try something bigger. I want to chat with my journals. I've got a ton of journals all in markdown format, and I want to ask it questions about me. Now this specific step is not covered in the article, so here's how you do it. First, you'll want to grab your folder of whatever documents you want to ask questions about and throw it onto your machine. So I copied over to my WSL machine, and then I ingested it with this command. Once complete and I ran Private GPT again, here's all my documents and I'm ready to ask it questions. So let's test this out. I'm going to ask it, what did I do in Takayama? So I went to Japan in November 2023. Let's see if it can search my notes, figure out when that was, and what I did. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Let's see, what. 'Cause, 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 I eat in Tokyo. How cool is that? Oh my gosh, it's so fun!
Crazy.
No, it's not perfect, but I can see the potential here. That's insane. I love this so much. Private AI is the future. That's why we're seeing VMware bring products like this to companies to run their own private local AI. And they make it pretty easy. Like if you actually did that private GPT thing, that little side project, there's a lot to it. Lots of tools you have to install, it's kind of a pain. But with VMware, they kind of cover everything. Like that deep learning VM they offer as part of their solution, it's got all the tools ready to go. Pre-baked. Again, you're like a surgeon just walking in saying, scalpel. You got all the stuff right there. So if you want to bring AI to your company, check out VMware Private AI, link below. And thank you to VMware by Broadcom for sponsoring this video. You made it to the end of the video. Time for a quiz. This quiz will test the knowledge you gained in this video. And the first 5 people to get 100% on this quiz will get free coffee from Network Chuck Coffee. So here's how you take the quiz. Right now, check the description in your video and click on this link. If you're not currently signed into the Academy, go ahead and get signed in. If you're not a member, go ahead and click on sign up. It's free. Once you're signed in, it will take you to your dashboard showing you all the stuff you have access to with your free Academy account. But to get right back to that quiz, go back to the YouTube video, click on that link once more, and it should take you right to it. Go ahead and click on start now, and start your quiz. Here's a little preview. That's it. The first 5 to get 100% free coffee. If you're one of the 5, you'll know because you'll receive an email with free coffee. You gotta be quick, you gotta be smart. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Do not use Microsoft Excel without ChatGPT and AI because
crazy, bro. So good. Okay guys, this was my time. I'll definitely, so we started around 3 o'clock and we learned so much that my head is spinning, kind of, that there's so much out there to learn, there's so much out there to implement. So that's what we're gonna do, right? So we're gonna go back to our notes and I'm gonna go look at what I want to look and filter out so that I kind of focus on the things that I want to focus on, and then try to have that particular ChatGPT or like the LLM model downloaded in my system. And for the fact of the matter is, the good thing is I have a GPU, but it's not powerful, but I do have a GPU of 1650 I. So let's see. The investment I made 3 years ago with on this laptop, which costed me around 1 lakh, and I made sure that I bought a GPU laptop. Right, it's a 3-year-old GPU, but still pretty good. I hope it's good. Right, cool. So hopefully I will be able to find a model which is good at data analysis and use that model instead of Llama, instead of Mistral, and use that model and give it a CSV file, and hopefully it will generate some insights about data analysis. That's what I want to do. Great. Bye guys. I'll see you in maybe an hour. Right, I'll just go for a walk and come back because I am kind of trained. I mean, it was such a crazy 3 hours. I didn't even realize how it went by. So super excited. Bye. See you in some time.